Amazing how alternates have really been so useful at the last few meetings.
Yes. Yeah. Don't forget this.
Okay. I'll have to talk to Kristen.
Okay, Paul, you ready to go?
All right, welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting. Today is September 18th, Thursday, 12 p.m. This is our normal meeting time. We're going to get started by calling the meeting to order. We'll take a quick roll call.
Garrett Levy, member.
John Racine, ex officio planning board.
Member, yeah, okay. Paul Ricotta, chair member.
Steph Lebec, alternate.
Okay, seeing as though we're a little short-staffed today, we are going to seat Steph as the alternate, and she will be our fourth member, which is plenty for quorum. We don't have too many voting issues today, actually, but we will have Steph. So you're
Cool.
activated. All right. Okay, so the first order of business here is for the commission to honor Mark Dakota, the passing of Mark Dakota, with a moment of silence. So I would like to go ahead and ask for about a moment of silence from Mark. I know he's been a great mentor to us on the Conservation Commission and an incredible resource, not just for us, but for the entire town. So if we could please have a moment of silence in honor of Mark before we proceed with the next order of business. Okay, thanks. We're going to move on to item 3 on the agenda, which is to review and approve the minutes from the August 21 meeting. We actually don't have those minutes yet prepared in a form to vote on them, so we'll do that at the next meeting. You all will receive the minutes shortly to review, and so we'll do that the next thing. I was going to have Steve do some town updates for us, but I think why don't we move to why don't we move to privilege of the floor? I think that's probably a good. We do have some folks in the audience here. We have Tim Smith and James.
He's not
He's
fighting.
And so why don't we go ahead and do that so you guys don't have to sit through all the other stuff.
We're here just to support the board and just have open lines of communication between both Tyrell and the resort. And we just want to make sure that we get a presence here and offer any assistance that we can. We know that we're in a drought situation, and I know a lot of people ask a lot of questions about snowmaking at this time of the year. We don't have anything to be concerned with at the moment. It's still a long ways out before snowmaking hits. Obviously, we want to keep Corcoran's Pond full so we can pull water out of Corcoran's Pond to make sure that we have the sufficient amount of snowmaking water. We also have our stream gauging. Our yearly stream gauging is happening right now by a firm that we hire to do our stream gauging to know what level we need to keep the river at to make sure that we have the right amount of water passing by us. So as much as people get concerned this time of the year, it is not uncommon for us to have low water levels in the river at this time of the year. This is the driest part of the year, so no concerns right now for me.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add? No.
Excellent.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So, Red Feather Trail.
Yep.
We're reading something about that. Can you
Oh,
elaborate?
yeah, sure. That's actually very exciting news. So the long-awaited Red Feather Trail. This is something the resort community has been looking for, a way to connect the north end to the Snows Mountain pod of Nordic Trails for a long time. As we all know, when you come off the north side, you have to go across the bridge, Triple I Road, which is very narrow. It's hard to walk across. You got traffic going both ways. The snowcat has to go across there, so we lose the pavement. It beats up the pavement a while. It's the longest road section that we actually have to cross the entire Nordic network. So for a long time, we were trying, the resort had been working with the forest and working with the town on what used to be the Red Feather Trail. It was a hiking trail that went from the north end of the Nordic center down to deep woods. And unfortunately, that with the well being there and with the town well being there, also there's some wetland issues out there. It just wasn't a viable option to put a Nordic trail into that area, just too many environmental concerns. And of course, we don't want to have any of that. So we worked on that for quite a while to rule that particular route out. And then, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years ago, we identified a route that we could go up the edge of the hill. There's a hill, and originally we kind of went to, I'm gonna say, the east of the hill and did the profile of the hill with the original Red Feather Trail. Now we're looking at going somewhat to the west, northwest, and ascending that trail up towards John Doe. Which will give us that connection that we've always needed to maintain that area better and to make that connection with the Snows Mountain Pod. And the North End, as we all know, maintains the snow level better than any other part of our Nordic area. So to be able to connect that directly to Deep Woods, which will then connect direct to Livermore Road, makes a very good connection for us, especially for earlier in the season and throughout the entire season. So we talked to the forest about this. We put in a plan, a proposal, a plan proposal. I'm going to say a year and a half ago now. The steep grade is the one that we're most concerned with. Obviously, we're going to have to be cutting in a path for the snowcat to be able to ascend that steep grade. We've worked with some engineers. We have a solution for that. In the record of decision, it states that we are not allowed to move forward with anything on that steep grade before we have a stamped approved record of stamped approved engineering plan for how we're going to sustain that slope and make sure that slope is in the right position. I know on this board, there's been a lot of conversation about the Nordic trails and how we cut Nordic trails and what we do with the trees and debris. The trees that we cut, we do leave in place. The reason for that is to keep the natural substance of the tree into the forest and making I'm not as familiar. It's the one that really recommends that way of disposal. It's called drop and pull, and you drop it, you pull it into the side of the trail, and you let it decompose on this edge of the trail, allowing for that decomposed wood to be part of the nature where it came from. So they don't recommend that we pull the trees off of that. We don't want to skid it out, cause more damage to the woods than necessary. So yeah, that's where we stand. We're going to be working with the engineer to come up with a way to secure that banking. And then from there, we'll get the final okay, and we'll start, hopefully construction maybe next summer at the earliest. But you might see some trees fall during the winter because the restrictions in the notice in the record of decision, it states that we are allowed to cut trees between November 1 and April 1. It doesn't mean we have to remove it. We don't have to, cut up the slash and like put it in the woods by April 1. We just have to make sure the trees have fallen before April 1st. So those are a little bit of insight there. Happy to answer.
Is it flagged right now, the route that it's going to take?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it looked like it was.
They flagged it a bunch of times, and they've changed how the route goes to make the best alignment. Most suitable.
So it will connect to John Deere, like at the junction of Upper Osceola and John Deere, is that?
Yeah, it'll connect up there. Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be a nice trail. I think it's gonna make it, I just think about the better utilization of the north end.
And then will the groomer avoid the bridge then, you think? Will it?
Yeah, the groomer could avoid
It'll
the
just come
bridge.
down to Triple I, go
Correct.
back up.
Correct. We don't want to run over the road. The roads are really hard on the cat.
Yeah.
They tear up the tracks, they tear up the grousers. So it's a really sustainable way for us to be able to connect.
So we'll just use the Swans Way to get over to the south end when it wants to or whatever. It's gonna do the same stuff. That's not just avoid that one.
Yep, we'll stuff it out the bottom of Line Road, turn around, go up the north end, do that thing, come down the new Red Feather Trail, catch into Deep Woods, be able to do the other side of the road, and we won't ever have to be. But now we have the ski down trail on the edge of the parking lot. We won't have to take the snowcat off of the snow. The only part that we have to take the snowcat off the snow when we're in full operations is the crossing of Triple I Road on now I'm forgetting the name of the trail. Ian's gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
The Swans Way.
Swanway, thank you. That's Swanway. That's the only road crossing that we have to make once everything's over.
So will you be avoiding the super steep slope by Red Feather Trail and connecting that trail to John Deere? Are we
super-
avoiding that steep slope altogether or not?
So red feathers all the way up the top, or, oh, you're,
No, I'm
sorry.
going from the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bottom, going from,
No, you have to go, we have to traverse that steep slope.
you have to.
Yeah, so at some point, we have to make that steep slope. So originally, the Red Feather Trail went off to the back
Mhm.
and went towards the northeast side of
Mhm.
John Doe.
John-
Now, John Deere, sorry, John Deere, then this one now is gonna go to the left side.
Hmm,
So it's gonna go in a slightly different alignment, but
Mhm.
it'll serve the same
I see.
purpose, and
Mhm.
we're avoiding all the wetlands and
mhm.
the other sensitive issues that we have on the northeast side of
Right.
that slope.
That trail, Red Feather Trail will be off of Deep Woods Trail.
Correct,
Got it.
Mm.
Okay,
correct.
Okay,
got it.
all right,
Thank you for the clarification.
yeah.
So the other route that you were initially considering was where the wells are, is that?
Yeah, there is.
And that would have gone to Moose Run, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, if you go back in Deep Woods, you'll see the old
Deep Wood.
truck. That's it, out in the
Yeah,
woods, that
right.
antique truck that's in the woods, the historical issue. And then you go past that and you come into the town well, which that's another issue.
Mhm.
And then you go past that and you come into the wetland issue areas back there, that's another issue. So there's just a multitude of issues as
Mhm.
we went back.
So would it be a one-way trail or is it gonna be two-way, you think?
I think it's probably gonna be two-way.
Mhm.
I mean, that's more of an Ian question, but I believe it's gonna be two-way. I don't know why we'd only wanna have.
Unless, because the coming down,
I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
it's not gonna be that bad.
It's not gonna be like Criterion or anything.
Okay,
Good,
excellent. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for that.
Oh,
Great to know. That's good.
It's gonna help connect all the trail systems. I think it's gonna be really nice. Even in the summer, it's gonna be really nice to be able to get right up there to the north end, but I have
Yes.
to go through the campground and the gates and all that stuff.
I have a quick question that's not, it's sort of, I guess, in the nature of privilege of the floor. Is there any way that could be a consideration of areas to cross the road without having to take the skis off? So like
Yeah,
you know, in Switzerland, they have these things like you can
yeah,
put the skis in and it's like rollers, like,
yeah.
and you just go right across, you know?
In Europe, if you're ever there, take pictures of them. That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do. As I take pictures of them, Mark and I were working
I
together.
could give it to Ian or something, like some of the things I
Yeah.
review or,
Yeah.
It really comes down to the plowing.
yeah,
of the
exactly.
road, and how do you maintain it with the plow going over it and like what works and what doesn't, and there are more creative things. In Europe than what we currently have in.
Like you could have it at Swans, for example, or, you know,
Exactly.
you know.
There are more creative ways than what we have in the States and what I've seen in the States and Europe.
Mhm.
So if you see something like that, take a picture of it
Yeah,
and just shoot me a text. I'm trying to we've been trying to get ideas for that as long as I've been here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So.
okay, excellent. Are there any initiatives for keeping the trails Nordic only, or like kind of like avoiding some of the walking that we see, or I know this is a touchy issue, but it's like,
He's done a pretty good job, and ESS is that every year,
Hmm.
of making a balance of the dog-friendly trails. You know, we don't ever want to pack.
right,
That's the
exactly.
worst thing. We put those signs out there. And we do put areas that are more sensitive as, you know, Nordic only, or we put them as the, you know, multi-use trail.
Mhm.
Ian does a really good job.
He does, yeah.
With assessing, trying to balance those needs, you know, the fat. And the social or exteriors, and we wanna balance the.
And we know like Aurora and Triple I, they're legendary for walk, you know, for
Yeah,
people who don't seem to
for-
understand the permitting process, things
Correct.
like that.
Livermore and Triple I are an interesting piece too, because Livermore is the only trail in National Forest that has a dog restriction.
Mhm.
Don't know how many people know this,
Yeah.
but there is actually a dog restriction on that trail,
Mhm.
wintertime dog restriction. That goes back to an accident way back in the sixties.
Oh,
It's not a
Yeah.
big deal. The fact is that the Triple I and the Livermore trails are access to other parts of the White Mountain National
Mhm.
Forest. So we have certain restrictions on those trails that we can't control. Because they're considered access trails for the National Forest. So we can't do, we have a lot more control over the system trails. By system trails, I mean trails that do not touch those two.
Hmm.
We have much more control and ability to put restrictions of our own because they're part of our special use. So when we say fat bikes and hikers and things like that, we can control some of that on our trails. We can't control that on those two trails. Those are system trails.
Yep.
That helps.
It's
Yep.
very hard to see those signs that the Forest Service put up. They're brown and red, so nicely camouflaged. So when dog walkers walk, they just walk
Of course.
past
of
the
course.
sign. I mean, there's signs on both sides.
Well,
Of course. And I mean, the main thing is trying to do what we're trying to do here today is just have the community communicate with one another.
Yeah.
And, just ask these questions of, where is it
Right.
appropriate to do these things, checking
Yeah.
and knowing that the
Yeah.
Adventure Center is really that hub of all of that information
Yeah.
and really the hub of, trying to bring people in and inform them of what's
Right.
appropriate and what's not appropriate on trail systems.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always open for that
Yeah.
Yep,
conversation.
and I think, all of us on the commission realize what a resource these Nordic trails are in terms of connectivity and just just having them in town is such a huge resource and, and having them used properly and, by users and respecting what they're there for at that time is critical to maintaining that connectivity and everybody being comfortable on the trail system, just using the right equipment and behaving in a manner that's consistent with what they're designed for.
You look at the
So-
erosion issues and all those types of things, most of those erosion issues that happen on our trail system are human driven.
Absolutely.
Riding a bike when it's not appropriate to go through a water bar and they blow through the water bar, next thing you know, the water's gonna follow that bike track.
Absolutely.
So it's those little things of educating the community about, if you damage a water bar or if you see a water bar that's full of, trees and branches and leaves and things like that, just simply cleaning that out is a huge help
Absolutely.
for our trail system. So
And we see it like on the hill, like even on the first hill at Livermore, the big hill on Livermore, not big, but the hill on Livermore where the meadow is to the right.
Yep.
The main hill where they get this good sun exposure.
Yep.
You see there's already, people don't walk on Livermore Road. They walk, they've made a trail to the side of it.
Yep.
Like would be on the right as you're climbing Livermore.
Yep.
So it's just people just,
yeah, it's
they
just a
just
matter-
it's education.
That's education. I mean, we live here, we know it a little bit better than most, and it's hard to remember that, not everybody knows
Right.
these little tricks, these little things about living in the woods that help everybody out.
Right.
Yeah.
And they tend to go around drainages rather than
Oh,
stepping
yeah.
over them.
I hear it, and we have it all the time up the mountain too, the mountain work road, one water bar gets a little washed out, so they start going a little left instead of fixing the water
Yep.
bar.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the road is moved over to the left. And
Or
so
they avoid stairs.
You gotta watch
They
this.
they go around stairs that have purposely been placed there. To
Absolutely.
make the,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, an education piece is on that is the way to help with that.
Yep.
The Adventure Center is really where that hub comes together and we can hopefully build more of a community around that. And
Yep.
more of like trail responsibility and all of that. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the trash too, it's another one. We see a lot of that too.
Yeah, I don't understand
The tissues and
the whole taking the dog dirt up and then putting it in a bag and then leaving it there.
Okay.
That one.
Well, they're gonna pick it up on the way, they're gonna pick it up they're gonna pick it up on the way out.
Understood.
Yeah, they're gonna pick it up on the way out supposedly.
Oh, no, I forgot.
So anyway, no, thank you for that. That's really great. Thank you,
I
Tim.
know.
Excellent.
I think I had one more question.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, go ahead, sure, I'm all yours.
So I don't know if this is an appropriate question to ask, Mr. Chair, let me know if I'm on the wrong path. Cochran's Pond, when you draw water out of that for snowmaking, the area that you draw the water out of must have some type of a filter with all the sediment that's in that pond right now. Do you have to go in there and clean that out
Yep.
or?
Yep, we clean it up, and it's really, I will say, out of all the pumps that we use and all of the stuff that we pull in the pumps, Corcoran's is probably the cleanest.
Really?
It has very little that we suck in through that pump
Oh, wow.
that goes down. We have to clean out our main river basin. So we have a basin that the pumps work out of and we pump into that basin out of the river. And that will get water from the river when in high flows. The water will actually come into that basin and deposit sediment inside of that basin. We have to clean that out quite often. Even when we're making snow, we have to clean that out quite often. The Corcoran's Pond, we check it about once a year. We go down to the bottom of the shaft. We shine lights down there. We see if there's anything blocking it. We suck it out once a year and go down, check the screen to make sure the screen's clear. It's a screen that's on the bottom of the pump. So it's a vertical turbine pump. At the
Oh, I
very
see.
bottom of the pump, there's
I
a
see.
screen,
Yeah.
and that screen has to be clean, and you can tell because the pump won't pump as much water. It'll use higher horsepower, RPMs will go up, and there won't be as much water coming out.
I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
You can tell by the amps, because the amps will actually drop when because it's not using as much power, because there's not as much water to suck in.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I'm good.
All set?
I'm good.
Anything else for closure of the floor? Right. Well, thank you so much. That was really
Happy to answer questions.
a nice piece of information to be presented at the Conservation Commission on a fairly light agenda day. So that was great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, I guess, Steve, you're here, so let's go with the town update, if you have anything for us. Anything we need to be keeping an eye on? I know things are obviously in transitional time, but
Yeah,
anything?
just, with respect to Mark's passing, the town has promoted me to an assistant town manager position. Within that job description, I will step into the shoes of the town manager in their absence, so from a administration standpoint, that's what we're looking at right now. The board is meeting, a special meeting tomorrow morning, the select board at 8 AM, at which they will review, proposed job advertisement that I've created and give some guidance on how we're gonna, present that, whether it's in the form of a Indeed or NHMA or what direction they're thinking we're going in from a recruiting standpoint.
Okay.
That's, other than that, we have, as you probably noticed, walking in, a little construction going on at the front of our fire base and our town hall entrance. That construction is and was approved at town meeting in 25 to repair the drainage system that we have in our fire bay.
Right.
So in order for us to wash down our trucks in the winter, there's multiple drains in that bay. That drainage system has failed, and what they did is they, rather than having that drain go into a culvert down here, they put in it's a chamber that will allow solids to separate, and then they tied that into our sewer system, their overflow. So it's a much more environmentally friendly solution that's in place or being constructed right now.
Mhm.
And we expect that to be wrapped up by the end of the week.
Excellent. I think on the wastewater treatment, we're just maybe next month there'd be some design update or whatever, I think is what Mark had said at the last meeting, and that would be
Sure.
coming, so maybe next time, nothing right now.
I have a brief
Oh, if you want.
A brief update. So we engaged with 5 community members as a kind of a public outreach approach. And we've had initial discussions with them to kind of show them where we're at in the process, in the project. Some new updates to the financing piece of the project. And we plan to meet with them, Dylan and I, again, within the coming weeks. To kind of, get them back on track and ready for a public hearing, hopefully in early November. We'll have a public hearing on an update for the wastewater treatment plant with those 5 community members.
Okay. I do have some more information.
On the town update
For
or,
privilege of the floor.
sorry, all privilege of the floor? Oh,
Privilege.
okay, good.
So this comes from Newfound Voice, but it's relevant to us. It's the threat of wildfires in New Hampshire. A call to action. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but it just reminded me that we are in a drought and we do have a threat. So we're not immune to the growing threat of wildfires. And they briefly go into a history of devastation. In 1903, we had a series of fires ravaging over 85,000 acres of the White Mountains. And that disaster led to the establishment of the White Mountain National Forest and the passage of the Weeks Act in 1911. So that's a landmark legislation that helped protect our forests and prevent future catastrophes. So why am I reading this? Well, we know we don't have the rain that we had months ago. And we need to hear from Chief Noyes regarding our evacuation plan and what this town is doing regarding the threat of wildfires. So Steve, if you can
Could
potentially, yes.
I make a suggestion why don't we have the chair see if you could invite Mr. Noyce here next meeting to help us out with that. What's going on? Can we do anything? And explain the evacuation route, if there's any, because he's been working on that for quite a few years. Dave has.
Yeah.
So maybe you could invite him and
Sure.
put it on the agenda for
Yeah, I
next
could work,
time?
maybe Steve and I can work together. See what come up with a convenient time.
Yeah, I know that they've been working on a hazard mitigation
Right.
plan over the past few months. I'm not sure where they are in
Mhm.
the terms of finalizing that plan, but I'd be happy to check with Dan and or
Yeah.
Dave and get back to you.
Yeah, I think in fact, we had talked a little bit about that earlier this year, hazard mitigation
Mhm.
plan and getting a bit on it and yeah, so I think it's probably timely to just follow up on it.
Sure.
Right, because after we discuss it, you need to let the public know. Because people don't need to know we have a hazard mitigation plan. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. What was the other thing? Okay, we're in a drought too. Right, we are in a drought. Are we officially in a drought?
I think I saw today on WMUR that we are in an extreme drought.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so, I forget who dropped this off on my desk. Maybe you did. But it's, municipal and village district lawn watering restrictions during state or federally declared droughts. So we have an RSA that authorizes our town to adopt regulations to restrict residential lawn watering. I know Cindy's brought this up and it's been brought up for months at a time. We need to talk to someone in town about what we're doing about restricting lawn watering.
Could I make another suggestion?
Yes.
Can I make a suggestion that this conservation board submits a letter to the select board? Because this has been in discussion before, the select board
Mhm,
and irrigation and
mhm.
watering the lawns.
Yeah,
We just saw another irrigation unit going in
yeah,
and you kind of roll your eyes.
Yeah,
but That's
Boulder
a story
Park
for
Road.
another day. But anyways, the board is stronger if we submit that
Something.
information to the select board and maybe someone from the board could present that to the select board.
Yep, let's put that on the agenda for next time so that we can
yes,
put like, kind of like what we did with the salt.
Yeah,
That's some type of
we
advisory
could do that.
type of thing that some
Sure.
position on it. I think that's fine.
okay,
We can deal with it that way.
Thanks, Sarah, for bringing that up.
The last select board meeting, the town did declare a level 1 drought
mhm,
restrictions, and they posted what that level 1 is on our website, and it has some parameters around when watering is allowed and when it's not allowed. Tomorrow morning, it's on their agenda again, given the severity of the drought, to relook at that.
Yeah.
What level we're on, and if they feel like we should increase. We have up to 4 levels that we can go.
right,
So I'm assuming that they may elevate that.
Okay.
mhm.
Got it.
We can create an initiative for that.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Anything else, Sarah?
Yeah, there is old business if you want to go there.
Oh, we're not
What's the
quite
topic?
there
We're
yet.
not
What's the topic on the old business?
Rick Vanderpool.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that first thing. Okay. John, did you have any planning board updates?
Kind of. So, what I would like to suggest also with the planning board, this is a master plan action. And maybe we could touch on the master plan action, old business,
Mm-hmm.
for the next time we have a full board.
Absolutely.
And also, Mr. Chair, I'd like to give this to you and maybe put this on the agenda for next time as well. Let's see, everybody gets a copy of that. That's from the SE group.
Mm-hmm.
And just some suggestions as to do things. And for the Conservation Commission, I've got some highlighted areas in there.
Okay.
Stormwater and that kind of thing.
Yep.
So drainage, and let the board take a look at it and see what the SE group is up to.
Okay. The
They've
SE
been very
group,
helpful.
this is the SE group is a,
Is the,
They're a consultant.
Right.
The planning board hired.
okay,
to
I got you. Yep,
Audit of their zoning ordinances.
yep.
Town zoning
Yep.
ordinance. I think that's a preliminary
Okay, I've seen this before. I've
Yeah,
seen
the
this,
prelim.
I've seen this somewhere before, but,
Yeah, maybe you could have Krista make a bunch of those copies up and hand them out.
or we can
next
just, I
time.
can scan them and send them to you guys if you want.
That would be better so people can study them and then bring
Yep.
it up on the agenda next time.
Mhm.
Just to scan it so people, some people's minds.
Yep, no problem. I'll take care of
Good
that.
group, they've been very
Yep.
helpful.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you. I think that's about all I have.
All right.
for that.
Steve, I didn't mean, I think you're all set, right? You just with the town, okay. All right, so let's move on to old business. The first item, Irid, if you want to take the lead on that, I think but as far as probably most people were aware of, with Rick Van de Pol, at the last meeting, we did sign a order to begin work on this remediation
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there have been a couple hiccups with that.
Yeah,
And that project is now delayed, once again, and we can talk about that. I'll let you get started on it here,
Yeah.
and I think we can discuss with,
Yeah.
going forward, how that's gonna hopefully
Right.
resolve itself.
yeah, you've basically summarized it, so. The day after Rick was at the meeting here, which I was not present for. He went to the Forest Service. Did he go with one of you? No. No. He went with Chief Noise, I think. Yeah. And we thought everything was ready to go. But there was a form missing. So it was a bureaucratic thing. We were missing a form. I think it was form number 1. It was missing signatures, and so bottom line, we have to wait till spring, till there's another small projects list, and we could get on to that one. So we have to wait till springtime. And this was the sediment mitigation plan that we were hoping for to start mid-September. That's this week. So it's a little disappointing, to put it mildly,
Mhm.
but we'll wait another few months.
I did speak with Rick about it, as well, and, he's optimistic that things will move forward, just at a later date, and, we do have one issue that we do need to be concerned about, which is the money that was allocated to this project.
Mhm.
Since the project there's a couple avenues of
Mhm.
thought here. I can just give you a brief summary.
Mhm.
One avenue is that since there's already been the go-ahead, the project is actually in place with just a delay, so the funding should stay put. The other school of thought is that we may need to seek approval for continuation of the funding. So we're still working those details out, and we'll just keep you posted on that. As
Right.
everyone knows, it is a scaled down project already, so it's in the upper
Right.
$40,000 range.
Right.
So hopefully the
Yeah.
money doesn't need to be renewed, or if it does, it shouldn't be
Right,
hopefully a hang up or an issue, but we are considering, looking at that. I did speak with Rich about this as well.
Mm.
And he's also optimistic about the
Cool.
different elements here and just needs some clarity on it. That's all. He just needs
yes,
to.
we need to know whether we need to bring it up at the
Exactly.
next annual meeting. Do you have any conclusion about that?
I know that my recollection is that it was half grant funded, and I know that that grant expires at the end of the year.
So the grant though, I think was scaled back, right? Because we didn't
We didn't need that
we didn't
much.
get it because there was a couple of dissenters on that.
Okay,
So we didn't get the grant, and then so we scaled it back to just what the $50,000 funding, so we're below that. So that's the funding that we're the grant that was assumed is gone, and then it's like the remaining is the 50,000 that was approved for the project from the
Okay.
town side.
yeah, that makes sense.
So the question is, does it expire at the end of this year, or,
It would expire and lapse into fund balance at the end of the year,
Oh.
because there wasn't a non-lapsing account created for those funds.
mhm, not, okay.
Right, so
So
these,
we would have to,
yeah,
we would have to ask for it again at town meeting next year.
Even if a few $1,000s were already taken from that 50,000,
I believe so.
okay,
all right,
I
we're
can
gonna,
double check though.
Yeah.
I'll check with our auditor, but I know in the past, we have had some accounts not lapse. And then when we brought in our new auditing firm, they were not a big fan of that process, so
Right.
they want to tighten up that piece of
okay,
our financial process a little bit.
okay.
so we'll work on that. Sounds like we got a couple months to figure that out, so.
Good.
It's good. So yeah, a little disappointing news on that, but that's just the way it is. Okay, if there's nothing on that, any further on that, let's move on to the salt management informational brochure. Steve, I think I think you know what the plan is to send out an informational brochure, about salt usage with the water bills in October. So we have some very nice work that Cliff did, and put together an initial draft, which I think is generally, pretty much ready to go. The only thing is we just probably need to shrink it in size.
Sure.
And we also have a little letter that goes with it to explain to the condo associations about salt
Mm.
usage and so on.
Mhm.
I had one small edit to it. I can pass it around if you would like to see. I think most of you are familiar with this one,
Mhm.
this thing. So this one you want to shrink down. I'll work with Cliff to get that. He's got the makeup of this. And I think we all agreed that this was a nice
Mhm.
presentation.
Mhm.
So we can maybe read it through one more time before it actually goes out. And then there's a what you can do kind of thing, call to action on the back. I don't know if this, could probably make it double-sided, quarter page or whatever, third of page, whatever will fit. And then this letter, I think, is really quite good, as well. Has a lot of interesting information explaining to owners at condos, condo complexes, just basically to make them aware of how salt is used and become a little bit more, I guess, give it more consideration, more thought. So it has a lot of the key points that we had discussed over the months, about applying about salt use, applying sparingly, how to shovel for it,
Mhm.
sand, okay. Limit treatment to high use areas. I did make a little small edit there, just because I felt that, it needed a little explanation that salt's effectiveness is based on, kind of agitation of the
Yes.
material.
Mhm.
So that if you're gonna treat areas where there's no vehicles, then you're gonna have to use a lot more. So I kind of added a draft sentence here, like a small sentence that I
Okay.
penned to that. I can pass that around, but other than that, I thought the letter's fine. But if anybody has any final comments on it, we can get that ready to go.
Are you addressing this to condo owners or property managers?
Presently, it's written to association members, so it would be all condo owners.
Yeah,
I think they're the only ones who are gonna be able, the owners are the only ones that can be able to put the pressure on them. They didn't have
Oh.
to initiate the change because the property
Mhm.
manager is kind of at the behest of the
of us.
owners
Yeah.
and the boards to some degree, so, to a large degree, so.
Okay.
It's it's changing, I guess, the opinions at the
Lower
individual level.
Right.
And having those changes be
Right.
reflected in the property management style.
Okay,
I think I like to think that the property managers are just responding to how their
Yeah.
association members perceive how things should be done.
right.
So, so yeah, it's just about getting out of that bare pavement mindset, at least with the condo associations, and
Okay. Good.
that's about it. So
Sounds
I'll
good.
pass that around, you guys can take a look.
Please, yeah.
And I think I'll work with Steve in the next month to get this out,
Mhm.
maybe out by the time our
Yeah.
next meeting happens, but
Yep, because the water bills are going out.
that's just a draft text of what I was thinking. So if you have some more elegant wording, we can certainly use that. All right. Okay. I'll work with Steve and Cliff
Mhm.
to get this out.
Good.
All right, you may want to do like for the other sheet, the one that's more graphically oriented,
Yeah.
maybe some type of color or something to
That's,
make it.
yeah, for the post office.
Yeah,
maybe.
it might be more attention grabbing or
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, if he has the.
And that can also go
Yeah.
to the post office in the full size form.
Right.
Good idea. Okay. Very good idea. Post that in the post office. Okay, excellent. All right, let's move on to item 3, if we're okay with the salt for now. So this is another initiative that we're kind of just gonna keep on the agenda for a little bit. The idea of this concept of researching different fireworks things, just considerations about fireworks and whether, obviously we know that they're a huge draw for many visitors in the valley,
Right.
particularly on those winter weekends, but also, I don't know if this one is more geared toward the town, but we're still in the infancies of this and
Right.
kind of looking into the
Yeah.
looking at different
Options.
guidance, like some of the things I was kind of thinking about is in terms of, I know some of the alternatives with the drones and that, certainly cost is one of the big considerations. What the array of drones that you need to create
Mhm.
a similar effect would be. Is it 100 drones? Is it
Yeah.
500 drones, 200 drones? You know, like it
Yeah.
gets very expensive
I think-
with the choreography and all that.
I think Tim might have a little experience with it.
Tim knows.
I had very little experience actually with it. All I know is we looked into it for a little bit and the cost was. It's just.
It's very high.
Apples and oranges.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's
Exactly.
Very, very high.
I think we had looked, I think in terms of the town, that was kind of our more of our
Mhm.
impetus was
Mhm.
looking at the
Yeah.
cost of the elevating cost of fireworks for the town production, which I think was increasing substantially and, you know, but
And all the hazards that are
the
involved with
hazards
that.
that, yeah.
But when you looked into, was it drones or LED or I forget, laser?
I know, I didn't personally look into it. I know that WBRA and our marketing team and those, when we did the laser show last year and year before with WBRA. They don't have the attention grabbing that the fireworks do. So that's one big thing.
Mhm.
The drones were just outside of our budget, far outside of our budget. Even with the escalated cost of fireworks.
Yes.
Fireworks, yes, they are expensive. Next year is gonna be extremely expensive for the 4th of July. It's a Saturday, it's 250th anniversary of the United States. I don't expect all shows to go up by that amount. It's supply and demand, that's affecting that number. We don't intend on changing from fireworks. We did during COVID, we did try a few things, nothing really took off. We've tried a few different things with WVRA and nothing really took off or had the draw that the fireworks do. We used to do more fireworks than we currently do. We replaced during COVID, we chose to go with the lighting. And the holiday lighting, and I think that's been a hit.
Yeah.
It affects the guest on an everyday basis rather than just on a Saturday night.
Hmm.
So that we feel like that's been a little bit better of a balance.
Mhm.
And I think that would win overall for the guest experience in town. We're always evaluating. I want to get my fireworks license to try to launch them ourselves, but that apparently is a very hard thing to do. After I looked into it, much harder than a CDL was.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you do know, Tim, I think you have some knowledge of the different classes of fireworks as well. And
Yeah.
what shells are, used. So these are all things that would go into this discussion
Sure.
as terms of like what the appropriateness of the classes and trying to educate mostly the commission and other town parties that we might advise
Yeah.
on some of the considerations that would be
Mhm.
that would, need to be thought about, which is, I think, class of fireworks is a big one.
Yeah,
So-
and class of fireworks are determined by multitude of things. Cost, obviously, as the
What are the
class of
driving
fireworks
factors?
goes up, the cost goes up, at the same time. The size of the shells, all of those are determined by the class of the firework. That also determines your safety zone.
Mhm.
For the fireworks, you'll see we use a lower class that with our programming
Mhm.
than we do for the 4th of July. The 4th
Right.
of July is the largest that we do. We also launch a lot of times from a barge of dock that we put out into the pond
Mhm.
rather than launching them from shore. That brings the sight of them a little closer to the spectator rather than further away and higher. The larger the crowd is, the bigger of a shell you're gonna need to
Right.
make that awe moment. And that's what we're searching for when we have fireworks, is the awe moment. And when you have 4th of July, we fill up Packards, we fill up the old driving range, or however you want to say the fairway, and all of Town Square. So there's a lot of people there. So in order to make that show,
Mhm.
a good show, you have to use a higher class of firework
Mhm.
because people are spread out generally further than they are during a
Mhm.
routine firework show that we would perform.
Maybe we can invite the Blue Angels to fly over.
Yeah, I love the Blue Angels, actually. I've had a long history. I've watched them since I was 5 years old in Traverse City every other year. I was actually in a parade and was able to sit next to the announcer when I was 5 years old. I
You're
love
in.
the Blue Angels, but they are very, very expensive. And I don't believe we have the flight clearance with the Dolphins, because they have to come down real low, and they have to have a long flight clearance in order to do that. Anyhow, I love the Blue Angels. They're loud too.
I think,
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's also one of the topics I kind of brought up last time with respect to just giving my thoughts was kind of the idea of that it's not necessarily one or the other. It's also they can, you know, as the price comes down, perhaps there could be some augmenting fireworks with drones and so on, and
Right.
you know, using more like the rocket style fireworks without the loud reports,
Right.
but you know, with
Mhm.
some type of drone thing or whatever, but
Right.
these are just ideas of things that I've
Right.
seen, and I, you know, again, the cost effectiveness is what's gonna drive the whole thing,
Yeah.
and at
Well,
the present time,
yeah.
my understanding is that the drones are just not even in the same
Mm.
realm of possibility in terms
Yeah.
of to create that awe factor that Tim
Yeah.
was talking about,
Right.
and that really people
You
need for
You
fireworks.
need numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the frequency, you know, how often are we doing the fireworks anyway? And you know, that also has to be considered too.
Yeah.
If it's only a few times a year, then you know, is
Yeah,
this something worth
Do
even
we-
pursuing? So
right.
it's like one of those types of
right. Do we buy the drones or rent them? What?
No, it's a production company.
it's a production company.
It's the same with the lasers, they're production companies. I haven't heard of one that works with the fireworks, subcontractor that we hire. I don't know if that exists right now, but.
Yeah, I saw this in a
Mm.
different country, but yeah,
Sure.
it's like where you have the drones and then
Sure.
sort of like just.
Sure, I haven't seen that yet
Yeah.
here, but the possibilities are endless when you start looking forward, and. Yeah, it really does, you know, everything in the world affects the cost of fireworks, and
Mhm.
yeah, some of these things with the regulations of exactly who can shoot them off, that increase the cost of them because it's harder to find a registered.
Mm.
You know, person. that
There was a
can shoot.
great drone display over Highmark Stadium in Buffalo for the opener with the Bills
Yeah.
last Sunday night. And
Yep.
that if you haven't seen that, it's a pretty impressive
Mm.
display. The stuff that they did, and that looked like somewhere probably in the 250 drones range. Like it was pretty, you know,
Wow.
it may be more. It was pretty impressive. They did all kinds of things. The Sunday Night Football like logos, the Bills logo, all kinds of different things.
I'm always,
Really
I'm always,
impressive.
you know, shocked, right, in guest research, how the fireworks are such a magical moment for them, and how it really, our guest research does show that the fireworks
They are. I agree with
are
you.
a value to our.
Yeah, This
It's
huge
not
thing.
environmentally friendly.
Just look at how many people have their, I mean, not that that's a great indicator, but there's just so many people who record the whole thing on their phone.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
And so
It
that
is
they
a
can.
magical moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
I think these are just things
Yeah.
that people, if you wanna invest time in this
Mm-hmm.
is what some of the
Okay.
areas that we need to be thinking about.
Sure.
You know.
Good.
Okay. Master plan, I think we agreed that we'll save that for next time when we have the full group,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
New business, I don't think there is any today.
No.
Anybody have
I don't
anything?
have anything new for you,
No. All right,
Nothing.
except we might talk about a different meeting time.
oh,
Steve has to look at the.
let's talk
calendar.
about that at number 9, how's that? All right, seeing no new business, I don't think we need another privilege of the floor unless somebody's appeared that I can't see. No.
James, you're quiet today.
Anything? Okay, all right, then we're already at number 9. So Erit has a proposal that we have to okay with the town. So want to explain the proposal?
Yeah, 12 o'clock seems to be a very awkward time to meet. And we were pushed from 1 p.m. to noon because of a conflict in the calendar. I don't know if that conflict still exists. Can you check on your calendar and see if we can move to 12:30 instead?
Prior, I think we were meeting on Tuesdays. And we had a conflict at noon time on Tuesdays with another board.
Hmm.
So Thursdays at 1
Oh,
is completely open, there's no regular.
Yeah, we have to look to see if it's like if there's a 2 o'clock if it's needed or what it might be. So I can work with Kristen and you.
Thursday's wide open.
oh,
If you want to do
Thursday's
Thursday
open.
at
If you want.
12:30,
open. Or one.
I think the idea was to have a regular time slot as
Yeah.
opposed to just every time we have a meeting, like
One would.
going through the calendar and trying to figure out a time
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah.
So,
1
and
p.m.
given that we have 4 alternates, we have a full batch of alternates. I think, this is a good approach to keep it at a consistent time.
Yeah.
So, we can look for 12:30.
1 p.m. is better.
We're
Alright.
open.
Okay.
Are you okay with 1?
I mean, any time is okay, I think, but yeah. I think 12:30 is probably,
Better? Okay.
it's not as disruptive to the full afternoon for my
Okay,
schedule,
fine.
but I'm okay with,
You're the chair.
no, I'm okay with it if we have to, so. I'll contact you guys with it.
Okay.
We can have a little vote, and then
Yes,
we'll work with Steve and Kristen to get that time slot
Sure.
finalized.
so question mark on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think 12:30 is a little more
Yes,
conducive to
It's
Yes.
better than
making sure your blood sugar levels are high enough.
yeah.
Productive at the meeting, we can definitely do that, so,
Yeah.
all right,
Is that okay with you, Steve?
Absolutely.
okay, so we'll get the time nailed down in the next couple weeks,
Sounds good.
all right?
Yeah,
All right, I think we've reached the terminus,
Yes.
are we ready for a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, you're it,
Seconded.
all right.
All in favor?
All in